The happy ever afters we all grow up with, they're just myths, just games of pretend we call the end. Nothing is as black and white as those cartoons from our childhood make out. They're lies. They manipulate us and our emotions. No one is evil just because. No one suddenly turns villain for the sake of a story. Nor are our heroes always as pure as we seem to imagine. So what happens to the villain after the end? And is it really the end at all?
Hi, this is Lana Beckett, and this is the second confession that I'm obligated to do for AEA. So yesterday was my first day. I got to meet my partner.
This is Paige McLaren. So I met the new girl yesterday.
She wasn't very kind.
She's nice.
I stuck my hand out for her to shake it, and she just gave me this, small, fake smile. I mean, at least I think it was a smile. I don't even know for sure.
That's, it's not a good thing. Not for this job, anyway.
And then she had the nerve to call me kid.
I can't believe they gave me a kid to work with.
She's only a few years older than me. How am I a kid?
She's too naive, too foolish, and full-hearted. It's like she doesn't even know what the world is really like.
Anyway, I was too excited about our first mission. It was Cinderella. We were getting to help the evil stepmom. So, we went into this door. The boss lady said it was a portal that stretched the fabrics of other dimensions where the thread was already at its weakest. How cool is that?
We entered the portal dimension splitter at exactly 10:16 a.m. Once entering the location, I noticed no fairy tale beings near our location, making our transport a success.
It was so beautiful.
I thought the kid was going to break something. Though I have to admit, I've never seen someone so generally awestruck and excited by seeing the land for the first time.
Paige rolled her eyes at me. But I didn't really care. I was way too into the fact that we were inside the story of Cinderella.
We walked to the nearest town. Luckily, the portal dimension splitter had dropped us off in a town not far from Cinderella's house.
We walked into town, and everybody was so nice and so sweet. Everybody said hello to me.
We were wearing proper attire for the time period and location.
My dress was gorgeous.
I think the kid twirled 7 times in that damn dress. She nearly fell over. Finally had to tell her to stop because we had work to do.
She snapped at me. Some of the first words she ever says to me, and it's, "Stop it, act like an adult. This is your job. You were not in a fairy tale. Well, excuse you. I'm allowed to enjoy this job, and you can enjoy the stick up your butt." I said that in my head, of course. I'm too nice to say something like that. Plus, I'm an adult.
She pouted until we reached the blacksmith.
I was surprised when we reached the blacksmith. I wasn't completely sure why we were there.
Looks like the boss forgot to tell another newbie that we're gonna need weapons to protect ourselves here.
I don't really like weapons. I don't really like the idea of hurting someone unless I absolutely have to.
I explained, as nicely and simply as I possibly could, that there are thieves, rapists, and murderers in the land, just like in our world. We try not to kill the fairy tale beings, but if push comes to shove, our lives come first.
I picked the smallest weapon that they had. It was this a small knife that came with a metal sheath, and it fit perfectly into the little pouch I had with me. Paige took forever, and then finally picked this long sword.
The sword I picked was balanced and properly crafted. The man had skill. I don't always get this lucky with weapons.
After we got the weapons, the blacksmith was nice enough to point us the exact location of Cinderella's house.
Cinderella's house was located on the outskirts of town, about a mile or two. So while we walked, I decided to prep Lana on the details of the case.
Interesting fact, the evil stepmother has a name. It's Genevieve. My mind was blown. I mean, of course she has a name, but when you grow up only knowing her as the evil stepmother, you forget that she could have a name, or you know that she could be real.
She did seem very surprised that the stepmother had a name. I found it weird and annoying, and I had to wait for her to calm down before I could continue.
If Paige doesn't lighten up soon, she is going to snap. She always looks so uptight and angry. Like, I'm allowed to be excited by this stuff. It's all new to me, and she just doesn't understand because she's been here forever.
Once she calmed down, I continued with the mission details.
So Paige explained that our job is to convince Genevieve to let us help her. It might not happen until the very end, but we can't really do too much until she agrees to help us. So our backstory going in there was that we were traveling women looking for work and a place to stay.
Not even 20 minutes later did we reach the house. We knocked on the door, asked to see the lady of the household. The servant brought us to Genevieve, who was in the middle of a late breakfast.
I had never seen someone so stern-looking in my life. Her hair was tied back into this really tight bun, and it looked like if she smiled, her face would crack.
As older women go, she was rather beautiful. But I also knew that we had a bit of a battle on our hands. I knew a bit of her backstory, and I knew trust was going to be an issue. She just doesn't open up to just anyone.
I saw Paige's jawline tighten and this look of concern show up on her face, which of course made me instantly worried.
I had to stop the kid from trying to talk because Genevieve hadn't recognized our existence yet.
She nudged me in the kidneys with her elbow. I was just going to say hi, which I realize now would probably have been a really bad thing.
When I gently tapped my partner, she made a bit of a noise. And the stepmother gave us a look that would have turned anyone into stone.
It was scary.
The lady of the house asked us why we dare come to her home, and I explained that we were simple servants, looking for a place to stay and work. She said why would she do that? She had plenty of servants of her own, and if our former mistress did not want us, then why would she? I was about to explain when the kid jumped in.
So I curtsied and lowered my eyes in a form of submission and informed her that the former family we had been working for was killed and that we only escaped with our lives. I told her that we were the hardest workers she had ever seen and to just give us one day to prove ourselves. And then I looked over at Paige. I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to impress her more than anything. But all I got was a raised eyebrow. So, that stung a little.
I have to admit, I was impressed.